Hey, what's going on, everyone? I have a question. What do superintendents do in New York City Transit, specifically speaking the subways? What do they do? What do the line superintendent do? What do the deputy superintendent do? What do the general superintendent do? What do the acto? What about the acto? What are their jobs? Right? What are their jobs? Let's start off with how they come to work, right? Now, we are in the business of transportation, right? And sometimes we have to go down to the roadbed. We got to go into dirty tunnels. We got to do all this stuff, right? And this includes superintendents also. All of these superintendents, right? Or I'm going to say most of them do not come dressed for work or to work. You see the men, they coming in here looking like pastors, wingtip shoes on. Where you going looking like that, right? And the women, they dress like Jill Scott. What road bed are they going to? What tunnels are they going up under? Being dressed like that. You're not even dressed to work, right? You're not dressed to work. They, for some reason, they become a superintendent. They go in the shopping spree, start buying all these suits, start buying all these shoes, and they doing nothing that show that they are coming to work to work. Now, there's a small few of superintendents who are coming to work, a small few. But look, go look at your superintendent right now and you tell me if they are ready for work in our environment, in our work environment. They're not ready to work. Now, when the superintendents come around, they don't introduce themselves. They don't say, hey, I'm so-and-so superintendent. Here's my card. If you need anything, reach out to me. No, they treat us like second-class citizens. They look at us as scum. Not saying all, but most. This is the truth. Most treat us like scum. The only time you see a superintendent is when it's time for you to get disciplined. Most of the time, the only time you see a superintendent is when it's related to some type of discipline or trouble or G2. You won't see no superintendent all the time. How many superintendents do you see coming around, introducing themselves and getting to know the employees that they actually manage? This is the only company where you will see the supervisors hide out in the office, don't come talk to the workers in the crew room, don't introduce themselves, don't do anything. And once again, look at the way that they dress. They not prepared to work. These superintendents do not come here to work, right? They come here to solely issue discipline. Solely issue discipline. And like, what are their roles? You have like, how are they roles defined? You can't tell the difference between a deputy, a line superintendent, or a general superintendent. How are they roles defined? Right? You really have managers, managing more managers. Check this out, people. There's over 75 superintendents in RTO. How many of them have you met on good terms? How many of them have you met outside of getting disciplined or some type of investigation? Not much. Not much. Because they are not here to help the members. Not at all. Not at all. And think about this too. The superintendents in New York City Transit, they do absolutely nothing to build morale, to mentor, to do anything. They do absolutely nothing. Right? So they basically, only thing they worried about is pass numbers. They manage a bunch of pass numbers. They cannot go answer no questions to say, hey, what kind of employee is X, Y, and Z? They don't know us. They identify us by a pass number. The first thing they do is when you get in trouble, they can't vouch for who you are as a person. First thing they do when you get in trouble is they put in your pass number to see what kind of discipline that you've been in the past. And they let that dictate what type of person that you are, because they do not know the employees that they are managing. Not at all. Not at all. And they see themselves as authoritarians, right? Really, what they really are is tyrants. They look at us as being below them. Like, they act like they didn't come through these ranks, right? They act like Well, they did. They don't act like it. They did forget where they came from. Like they look at it as selling out within their circle of people, of tyrants, of going to fraternize and talk and get to know the employees, right? They frown down upon that within their circle, right? Now, did you know at one time, and this was brought up in 2012, that they had a discipline quota in New York City Transit? Specifically speaking, again, RTO, they had a discipline quota, right? That discipline quota didn't go away. What they did was stop mentioning it loudly and publicly. So they made that mistake before in 2012. A superintendent got in trouble for that. But he was a part of that culture. He was a part of that club of the people who still here, right? But I just wanted to spark this argument. Someone tell me, what do superintendents do besides come to work looking like pastors and looking like Jill Scott? I'm not even trying to be funny. What do superintendents do besides turn into fashion queens and fashion kings once they become superintendents? They don't do nothing, right? And that's one of the reasons why New York City Transit will never get to the place that it needs to be, is because we have poor leadership. I would never forget, Barry Greenblatt told me, he said, Trammell, we don't have the best managers in New York City Transit subways. He told me that. He told me that a lot of the managers here are incompetent. And he wasn't lying. He was not lying. There's a lot of incompetent managers. Yeah, you may have some that's your friends. You may have some that's go get you in trouble. But none of them is fighting against the culture of the change that we need here. They upholding the culture. They upholding the status quo. They upholding big stick management. They upholding the oppressive issues that we go through here as workers, right? Because they look at it as a rites of passage. They don't want to make things better. They look at it as, if I went through it and I survived, you could go through it and survive. That's not how it's supposed to work. That's not how it's supposed to work. So once again, somebody tell me, what do superintendents do in New York City Transit besides come to work dressing like pastors, looking like Jill Scott, and issuing discipline? I want to have that conversation. Write down in the comments what you think and share this out. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.